Hi everyone, I continue making the interior for Quadra V-Tech from Cyberpunk 2077. In the previous part we finished almost all the elements of the interior. There are both movable and fixed elements that form the car body. The work is still unfinished, and it's unacceptable to leave the details of the saloon like this, since they'll be further covered with a top coat. For example, we can use an eco-leather or other kind of material suitable for upholstery. All the movable elements will be strengthened and brought up to ideal shape on the table. Those ones which are welded to the body will be brought up in place. First of all, the whole fabric should be soaked with polyester resin. Due to its toxicity, we must definitely prepare some kind of protection. I didn't work with it for a long time and even forgot how it smells like. The resin will give the material its initial stiffness, and it'll cease to be elastic and will look like a plastic soda bottle. After finishing the movable elements treatment, I started soaking the material inside the saloon. I completely forgot to remove the racks details. I'll treat them later too. That's what I was talking about. After drying, the fabric became like pet plastic. If the stiffness isn't enough, we can always cover the elements with more layers. Next, I'll make the surface solid as plastic using a glass fiber mat soaked with polyester resin. I'll glue over the inner surface of the details in order they won't increase in size and calmly fall into their place. By the way, this is the first time I'm doing it. Basically, I always applied the fiberglass to the front side. The saloon elements don't carry any load. In fact, they hold themselves, so I made only 3 layers of glass fiber mat. The working process came on cold days, so it became rather cool in the workshop. To dry the details, I raised the temperature with a diesel blow heater. And here's an example of the resin that hasn't solidified due to the low temperature. The surface remained sticky and the fabric still had little resilience. The fixed elements cannot be reinforced with fiberglass. They'll be stiffened by applying 6 layers of the resin. The following layers were polymerized at the normal temperature. I maintained it with the autonomous heater. I outstretched the hose from it right into the saloon. After the resin on the elements has stiffened, we need to modify their surface with a polyester putty because the material sagged in some places with rare bubbles and folds. All the fiberglass scrap, drops, folds and shagreen should be cut off and removed with the sandpaper. The gloss from the detail surface will also be removed for a good adhesion with the putty. After that I willowed and degreased the detail. I took the universal polyester putty. It's perfect for this task. At first I was full of enthusiasm and strength, and began to treat the details manually for some reason. But I only lasted for the first detail, and it was the simplest one with all. The most difficult part is the saloon rocker panel element. Besides, it has many verges, it was totally inconvenient to cover it. As the result, we've got such irregularities. I made the coarse treatment with a flat wheel and then began to apply thick layers of putty. All the same operations should be done with each detail of the saloon. The movable details are ready, next in line are the fixed ones. The seats should be removed as they will interfere with work. The headrests from them also need to be refined. The easiest way to do this outside the saloon. I provided for a recess for the upholstery of the headrest in the construction, but didn't glue the fabric on it, as it was difficult to make it in place inside the saloon. Now we just need to cut off the top of the headrest and lower the material to the bottom. I made the temporary walls from the PVC plastic. Inside the headrest I put the glass fiber mat overlapping the seat to connect the headrest with the chair. Now PVC plastic can be removed, and the headrest can also be cleaned and puttied like the rest of the elements. I used the polyester putty with fiberglass. Such headrests made the seats look quite unusual, as if they were removed from some alien spacecraft. Next, we need to align the surface of the fixed saloon elements. After 6 layers of polyester resin there appeared sag and drops. They should be removed before putty application. I also treated the rack with the flat wheel and removed the resin droplets from it. To avoid cracks, I'll also putty the interior details with additional fibers. Until the putty petrified, I cut the excess with a knife. That helped to ease the further process of treatment with the sandpaper. There are some small holes and bumps on the surface, but I think the upholstery material will excuse me my mistakes. I still don't know how to fill the space behind the cabin facing and whether it's worth filling at all. What if we fill it with a mounting foam, for example? Will it contain moisture and rot and have an unpleasant smell after that? I should probably think about that at my loose hours and search for material in the market that can be suitable for this process. An equally important detail of the interior is on a corner. This is the door space and its lath. I began working with an opening, as it's not yet clear about the door lath. The issue exactly concerns the window lift and the glazing. We need to find the way how to place this entire thing in the narrow canvas of the door and whether the glass can completely sink into the door. I'll deal with this later, and now I need to glue the opening and choose a weather strip for the door panel. The opening frame fully repeats the bends of the door. While designing the door lath, we should consider the rails and correctly bypass them. I found a couple of meters of such a draft strip in my workshop. I'll use it for now, and in the future I think it won't be difficult to find the strip of the desired design for a good sealing of the opening. I tried it on to the opening. It perfectly holds on the wire frame too. Due to its form, it has good resilience, which creates positive effect on impermeability. In general, it's fixed on the rib of the opening. It can be made of 2 mm slab, but I didn't want to unbind the sheet into stripes, and I chose the easier variant. I'll make this rib from wire like the other details. I even have a 4 mm bar. I bent it along the opening, and gonna use the jumpers to fix it. Due to the smooth bends of the wire, the corrugation disappeared from the draft strip. I did the same around the entire perimeter of the opening. Now all the new elements need to be covered with fabric. Those wire ribs complicated the working process, of course, as there appeared the internal angles. The height and thickness of the rib turned out to be normal, the strip sat well. There was no point in wrapping fabric around those ribs. I filled them with putty along with fiberglass. The opening is ready, we can put the draft strip on it. This strip is perfect for the leaf, but from above it most likely needs to be replaced with another one, as the doors are frameless and the glass should get to the strip. Although there'll be a strap on the top, and the glass will probably be able to fit tightly into one of the folds of the strip. The opening is ready. I did the same thing on the other side. Then I put all the saloon elements together. Most likely, it'll be foolish to cover them with material, as there'll be a lot of putty and dust, as well as the material will become permeated with dissolvent and paint. Of course, I really want to upholster everything, but if I ruin something, I don't want to redo it. So the saloon will stay naked without any material for a while. Now I want to make a glazing of the back, just in case I've got some pieces of the acrylic glass. Later, they can be used as a template, and we can order a hardened glass at the manufacturer. While I was busy with the glazing, I didn't notice the dripping from the ceiling. Strong winds blew the snow through the roof slits, and the heat from the workshop melted it, and the water began to drip onto the Quadra's roof. It was just the opportune opening test together with the draft strip. The moisture rolled down it and didn't get into the interior. Still, I couldn't resist and bought a few kinds of upholstery material for the cabin on trial. it'll mostly be a carpet. It's needed for the ceiling and the rack. I also took a piece of quilted eco leather. Just wanted to see how it would look in the saloon. Broadly speaking, I wanted to ask whether it's worth of sticking to the original color palette of the saloon from the game, or could it be possible to customize the interior and use another colors in the lath? Although we can first replicate the original and then change some colors as applicable. For example, I cannot find that orange camouflage for seats at the moment and maybe gonna replace it with another color. Write down your opinion about this in the comments. And that's all I've got for now. If you liked it, put your thumbs up. See you in the next video.